Two of the top three teams in the GLVC playing tonight at Nickerson Hall, and it should be a great game. I'm Nathaniel Finch. That's Jace Hodge. Down on the sideline is Leticia Vaselli. The Greyhounds on a 13-game winning streak, but they're playing a team, one of their two losses earlier this season, way back in November. Should be a fun one.
Yeah, Quincy, they have three really good players, all average double figures, especially Malik Hardman, 10th in the GLVC in scoring, scorched UINDY earlier this season. Should be a tough matchup here for the Greyhounds again.
Let's hear what Leticia has to say. Let's go down to the sideline.
Hi guys, who else is excited for this game today? It is the famous revenge game because it was the only one out of the two losses that the Greyhounds have had this season so far. They lost to Quincy, so I'm expecting a lot of fire coming from the Greyhounds tonight, and so is Carsaro. I think the expectations are really high. It is also a Hall of Fame game tonight, so that should be exciting. Now let's go to the national anthem and tip off to this exciting game.
Nathaniel Finch, Jace Hodge with you up here calling the game down on the sideline. Our reporter Leticia Vaselli. The starting lineups on the floor. We'll start with the Quincy Hawks. They're 13-9 this season. At the 1 spot, Zion Richardson averages 12 points a game. He's from Frisco, Texas, one of 3 Hawks from Frisco, Texas, oddly enough. At the 2 spot, Paul Zelinskis. He's from Oak Lawn, Illinois. Your 3 spot, at a guard position, Jamari Coakley. He's a senior as well. A couple seniors so far read off on this team. Finally, number 4. At the 4 spot is Malik Hardman. He's a senior forward from Chicago, Illinois. Transfer from Alcorn State University. Finally, at that center position on the inside, his name is Solomon Gustafson, a junior. They've got a makeup here, Jace, of 2 seniors and 3 juniors. A lot of upperclassmen leadership with those 5 names on your screen.
And having that experience is key to any game. Like we said, this team has experienced 13-9 overall, 9-5 conference play. Already beat this Greyhound team once. Greyhound 7th in the nation. This Quincy team, they can give any team a tough time due to this experience they have.
You're looking at Mr. Steve Hawkins in the middle of that huddle in his 2nd year in this stint with the Hawks. Of course, he's been a coach with the Hawks for 11 years overall now. Twice, 2 different times as the head man overall, 165, 146, his career record. Let's take a look at the starting 5 for the Indianapolis Greyhounds, ranked 7th in the nation, ranked 1st in the conference. 19-2 is their record. They're winners of 13 straight. Typical starting lineup here, Jace. Josiah Tynes at the point guard position. You've got Kendrick Choa at center. Tynes a junior, Choa a junior as well. Then your red shirt junior and Jesse Bingham. He's in that guard position. Guard / forward, his name is Bruno Williams, a senior transfer from Lewis. And then finally, your 4th at the number 4 position is Jacoby Robinson. He's a forward from Warren Central here in Indianapolis, transferred from McKendree University. The squad is ready to go, coached by head coach Paul Corsaro. 49-25, looking for win number 50 on the day.
And Paul Corsaro has turned this boat around here at UINDY since he took over. Last season wasn't the best seasons. They still went far in the GLVC tournament. But this year, brand new team, 19-2, 11-2 in the conference, number 1 in the conference, including that big win over UMSL a few weeks ago, who was 2nd. This Greyhound team, they can go really far this year.
This Quincy team, like we said, they're hard to defend. It's not just one player that you're trying to neutralize. You've got 3-4 guys that can put the ball through the hoop at a pretty high rate, and it's going to be tough for the Greyhounds to guard them. This is a very scrappy team. Coach Corsaro said it himself. He said that they are so good at crashing on the glass. They're so scrappy, really handsy. They get a lot of steals, a lot of turnovers, a lot of offensive boards. He said that 26 of their 62 points in that first matchup all the way back in November, those came off offensive putbacks and points off turnovers. So the Greyhounds, they just need to focus a little bit more on taking care of the ball and getting some boards.
And boards is something they did not win in that loss against Quincy. They lost that stat 34-29, something they kind of struggled with in that loss to Quincy in November.
That was at the Pepsi Arena in Quincy, Illinois, about 3.5 hours away. But it was on Quincy's home turf, where they play quite a bit better at home than they do on the road. They're 8-3 when they're at Pepsi Arena, as we got a nice little hook shot to start things off. And first up on the board are the Hawks, Solomon Gustafson.
Gustafson, center in the middle, going right in immediately, getting the ball into him. Obviously wanting to make an impact in the paint early on are the Hawks.
When the Hawks are on the road, they're 5-4, so still respectable, not quite as good as that 8-3 clip that they enjoy on their home court. Here are the Greyhounds. They're very successful at home. Here's Bingham, the splash of 3. Jesse Bingham, conference's top 4 scorer. This Hounds team, they're 10-1 when they're inside at Nickerson Hall.
And he's the top scorer on this Greyhound team. 16 points per game. That 3 ball, you leave him open, he's going to splash that in your face every time.
Last time these 2 squads played, he hit 3 shots from downtown. As we got a nice little trip to the cup. That was Malik Hardman. You talked about him pregame. We're going to see a lot of number 15.
And he went right past Jacoby Robinson with his speed. He is a speedy guy, too.
Good example there. The defense from Zion Richardson, as this team is very handsy and scrappy. We're going to see it pretty often today, trying to get these poke checks, trying to knock the ball out, just trying to play tight defense. Look at this. Look at the way that he just moves his hands, that left hand. Williams kicks it out, and the clock goes to 0. They played him the full 30 seconds. This Quincy defense, they're no joke.
And they're right up on UINDY. If the player gets the ball for UINDY, they're right up on them immediately, not letting them get any kind of entry pass or kick it out to the side, not allowing UINDY to get any openings.
Quincy's got a good defense, but it's UINDY with the #1 defense in the GLVC. They've got a top 15 defense in the nation, so we can sing all the praises we want of Quincy's D, but when you're asking which one's better, it's a team of the gray uniforms.
And defense is what we saw in that first game at Pepsi Arena. 62-57, a fairly defensive game that was. See which defense can prevail tonight, though.
Lose the ball on the inside, stolen away from Kendrick Cho. A good defense there.
And there's the defense we were talking about. Forcing turnovers is something that UINDY can do so often.
Josiah Tynes, just 2 games ago, career high 19 points for him. He's putting together a good month of basketball. We'll see if he can continue that streak from January into February. Long range jumper, and it's pure. How about Bruno Williams?
And he's been really good the last few games, especially the game at Lewis. He played really well, 10 points, 5 rebounds in the game at Lewis. That was his return game to Lewis. He played there for a few seasons as well, including last year where he was
a 3, and then falling down. Zion Richardson gets on the board, and so does Kendrick Cho on the other end. How about that? The receiver style, reach out, grab the ball, and stick it in the hoop.
And we can talk about defense all we want, but both teams' offense are showing up early on in this game.
What a way to silence the offense. I mean, what you put together is we got to travel here from Hardman. Zion shoots a beautiful 3, and instead the Greyhounds do a great job of silencing that with a quick fast break and dropping one in the hoop. So that's somewhere where they kind of lacked in the last game too. Only 4 fast break points the Greyhounds had when they played the Hawks.
And Zion is one of those 3, like you mentioned, from Frisco, Texas. So obviously they have some kind of recruiting down there in Frisco, Texas. But Zion, he played Division I basketball at Wofford.
He comes from a good program. Couple of transfers on this Quincy squad. Look at this, wide open from 3. Paul Zelinskis, and he's a little too shy. Rebound to Ben Nickerson, seeing some early minutes. He's going to go coast to coast. Can't get it in, though. And now a little 1-on-2 on the other end. Malik Hardman going to back down Etherington. Look at this pass. Beautiful display of offense. Finding the man open. That's Solomon Gustafsson. Nice assist from Richardson. That was beautiful.
And the pump fake got both defenders. He was able to split them with that pass.
Whistle blows. Looks like a foul going to be called against Jamari Coakley. So we'll see a couple newcomers come in for the Hawks here. And how about these 2 players just came in? They're the other 2 from Frisco, Texas. These guys actually went to the same high school, Frisco Memorial High School. They're both freshmen. Isaiah Foster wears #1. Mason Wujek wears #33, so you'll see them a bit here early. Here's Bingham, his second from downtown. He can't get it. Offensive board, though. These are important, these second chance points. Here's a 3 from Etherington, and can't hit that mark either. This is a team that hit 9 threes in Illinois in November. And they're already trying to attack that area of Quincy's defense.
And 3-pointer is something that UINDY typically does really well. They have a lot of shooters on this team. Really anyone can shoot other than maybe Steinfeld or Choa. Other than that, everyone can shoot the 3-ball pretty well.
Not to call out Steinfeld or Choa, but they've only, between the 2 of them, they've attempted 1 3 all year. So you make a good point there. So we got a nice little jumper from Zion Richardson. He's having a good start to his day. Quick 5 points, couple made shots.
You'll typically see Steinfeld and Choa down in the paint, doing the dirty work down there, getting the rebounds, getting those, backing down defenders and whatnot.
Whistle blows. That brings us to the under 16 media timeout. That also brings us a little trip with Leticia Vaselli. Leticia, what do you have for us?
Hi everyone. So remember I mentioned that today is the Hall of Fame game? Well, I have the inside scoop of which UINDY celebrities are actually attending today. We have the 2005 swimming and diving girls team. We have Paige Anderson, which was a 4-letter winner of track and field. And for basketball, we have Cindy Martin, 4-letter basketball winner as well. And Alan William, 4-year letter winner for men's basketball. And just before putting the 7-foot Steinfeld back on the court today, Corsaro told him to do what he does best, which is block and grab that ball. Now you're watching UINDY TV and the GLVC Sports Network.
at Nickerson Hall. The Greyhounds down on the scoreboard. You don't see this very often when they're in this home court, but again, we've talked about it. This Quincy team, there's just something about the makeup of this squad. They've got the number of the Greyhounds. Looking at the series record, UINDY leads the series 13-10. And Jace, when we look through the series records of most of these GLVC teams, UINDY typically dominates that. But Quincy, they've just had a way with the Greyhounds. They've won the last two. Both of them were at that Pepsi Arena in Illinois. It's just been a little bit different with the squad. Sean Craig, the freshman, he can hit some threes.
And Sean Craig,
about that?
He loves to shoot his threes. He's 4th in the GLVC in three-point percentage. He knocks them down time and time again. If he's in the game, he's usually going to be spotting up from the top of the key.
He's hit 3 or more triples in 6 games this year. This kid's a freshman. Of course, he started hitting 8 out of 11 his first 2 games. That opening weekend came out on fire. He has been a monster for this team. However, you know, he's been scoreless the last 3 games, so good to see him get on the board. Is Kendrick Choa, second steal of the day for him. Jarvis Walker into the game. You just saw him travel. No, actually, it was a looks like a foul against Kendrick Choa. A little too physical off ball. Big smiles for that man. You got to be careful if you are Kendrick Choa, because he's gotten into foul trouble the last couple of games. Typically hasn't been an issue, but the last 2 games, he's been in big foul trouble. 4 fouls apiece in those last 2.
And you don't want to have Choa get in foul trouble. 14 points per game, that would be sorely missed if he was to foul out at any point in this game.
Not just that, but 8 rebounds a game. Leads the Greyhounds in rebounding. He's in the top 18. That's where he ranks. 18 in rebounding in UINDY's history, and he continues to climb up those leaderboards as a junior. Quincy tries some offense, almost gives the ball away. Here's Shockey on the inside. Nice move, and he gets fouled. Send him to the line for 2. Nate Shockey shoots 65%. The transfer from the Division I North Dakota.
Like you mentioned, they have a lot of transfers in this team, a lot of Division I transfers too. So that also plays into their experience. You know, they've had experience playing the top of the top schools in Division I.
The lead is at 2 now. For Quincy in this last matchup, they beat the Greyhounds. Only 2 teams able to do that. They didn't shoot lights out with the ball, though. I mean, they hit 6 of their 15 three-pointers, so selective, those 40%. But as a team, they only shot 40%. Wasn't that great? It was more so that the Greyhounds were worse. They shot 36% from the field and 30% from downtown. They made less mistakes than Indianapolis did. It boils down to that. A better shot selection just by a little bit, and it got them the 5-point win.
And looking over the stats from that previous matchup, UINDY won some of the stats. Assists, they had 7 more assists than the Hawks did. UINDY, they could have, if they shot the ball a little bit better in that game, they could have pulled that one out. But Quincy, they are a tough team to beat, and they defend really well.
You know, it was a big difference, too, is that Quincy, they took 10 more free throws than the Greyhounds did in that game. They were 14 of 17. Very impressive shooting from the stripe were the Hawks, and UINDY just 4 of 7. They only had 7 attempts from the line. That's been a big difference. I mean, typically Kendrick Choa himself has more than 7 attempts in a game from the free throw line. There he misses both, though. Definitely not what you want to see. It was just one of those weird games, and Quincy found a way just to get to the line more often. They're a more physical team on both ends of the floor. The dish to the corner, there should have been a whistle there. Instead, the floater, and it's a miss. Taken away, now in transition. Here's Walker, he'll slow things down. Couldn't get the shot to go, was Wujek. Looks to bring in a replacement.
And look how active this Quincy defense is.
10 to shoot, taking the Greyhounds long, a triple. That's a little off the mark from Josiah Tynes. Also had a trio of triples in that last game against the Hawks. He's been red hot. Number 1 in the conference in three-point shooting percentage. And there a turnover. The Hawks commit their 4th already.
Both teams are now flexing their defensive muscles. Started off with some fireworks, but now both teams are struggling to get the shots they want to take here. You can see UINDY on the offensive end had a tough 3 in there, turning the ball over because of UINDY's pressure on defense there.
Number 12, David Eja, just inbounded the ball. You see him running across the timeline now. And Again, that's the 4th turnover that the Hawks have committed. Here's Ejah right off the bat, off the bench, hitting the 3. All right, David Ejah, not bad. From Fort Wayne, Indiana, went to Carroll High School, transferred from St. Francis.
He found himself open, and he says, why not? Let's pull the 3 up, and why not is the right answer there.
What a better way to buy yourself a little bit more time coming off the bench today. As I was saying, this Quincy offense just committed their 4th turnover. How about the Greyhounds defense forcing 10 first-half turnovers against Truman on Thursday, a game that they won. Eked out a close one against the Bulldogs, but they've just found a knack for forcing these turnovers.
And that's all credit to their high defensive effort they always have every night. You can see both teams have high defensive effort here tonight, Quincy and UINDY.
The high screen and roll. Going to set up Choa on the inside with a double team. He kicks it out. Ejah, no, this one is Williams, and he's a little off. Rebound, though. How about that? The offensive board and a foul. Send Choa to the line.
And that's Choa at his best in the paint. Strong rebounding.
He's 3rd in the conference in rebounding, 2nd in offensive boards. And that was just impressive. Went up over 2 or 3 other guys. We're going to review this one. So with that, let's step aside and return momentarily. You're listening and watching Division II basketball on UINDY TV and the GLVC Sports Network.
Hey, it's Giselle here on 88.7 WICR.
88.7 The Diamond, the only jazz and classical station in Indianapolis, completely led by the students of the University of Indianapolis. Listen to us on iHeartRadio, TuneIn app, FM radio, HD radios, or even on our website at wicronline.org, a different kind of public radio.
Tied up after 2 media timeouts. We'll see Kendrick Choa at the free throw line. Chase, last time he was at the line, missed his first 2 free throws. I'm sure he's going to have that on his mind as he's putting these 2 up.
And that second one, you can see it was out of his hands strong. Almost hit the backboard before it hit the back rim, but we'll see if he can knock these 2 down right here.
Choa, 14 points a game, 8 rebounds a game, #1 in the nation, in the entire United States of America when it comes to field goal percentage. He's got 74. He leads that category, Jace, by about 5%. He's head and shoulders above the next guy when it comes to efficiency on the floor. He's just so good at making these shots. From the free throw line, though, 1 of 3 today.
And those 2 misses, you never know, that could come back to bite you. You know, one singular miss in any game, you can look at the stat, that one miss could have lost you the game possibly.
Quincy operating on offense, trying to find a gap in this defense. Hard to do so. Not too many teams have been able to. Zion jocks up a 3, can't get it to go. Rebound goes to Ejah, and there's a whistle blown here. That'll bring in Julian Steinfeld, comes in for Choa.
And Quincy's having a really hard time getting the ball inside where they started off the game. Their first points of the game, they got it right into Gustafsson. But since then, they just haven't been able to get the ball into the paint.
It's been a big difference from that first matchup where they had 26 points in the paint. Again, we talked about how Coach Corsaro really applauded their offensive rebounding, the points they'd gotten off of that. We're just not seeing a ton of that. Yeah, Bruno Williams shooting some fouls by himself. Greyhounds increase their lead to 2. He'll hit the first, and the Greyhounds will have the ball. Looks like they're going to assess that foul on Zion Richardson. David Ejah hit the 3 earlier. He's going to come in and try to set up a 2 instead. Look at that, batted out of bounds. Jamari Coakley, a nice little snatch.
And something I'm noticing down there with Steinfeld against Gustafsson, the size difference. Steinfeld is just so much taller, but Gustafsson's doing a good job of blocking off the entry pass.
Hounds on a 5-0 run. They're going to try to increase that. That's how they've come down from that 3-point deficit. Here's a little mid-range, a little too shy from Bruno Williams. He's missed a couple now. He started most of the season, didn't get the start on Thursday, but he was back in the lineup today. Here's a long range two. That's a pretty one. How about Malik Hardman? We've talked about him. This team's best player, and he shows why there. That was a deep two.
And Hardman, 11 points, 9 rebounds versus this Greyhound team in that win. Doesn't seem like the best of stats, but it went a long way in that game to beating this Greyhound team.
Williams gets stuffed. Gustafsson with the block. He's 10th in the conference in that category. Greyhounds will keep possession, but man, that's a little bit of a pride shifter, huh? Nickerson tries to inbound two. Very tall gentleman in front of him. He barely gets it in. This defense has been so impressive. Coming in hard. Here's the stop and pop. Bounces in. Took a few rattles, but it's a two.
And right there, you just got to take what you can get. He was still heavily guarded, but pulling up in between 3 defenders. But sometimes against defenses like this, you just have to pull up the shot when you have it.
Bingham had 15 points in the first matchup. Trying to get the block. And will instead get the defensive rebound. That's Julian Steinfeld. And Coakley just couldn't get it to go in. It's always a tall task when you're playing offense against a 7-footer on the inside. You're in his territory. Here's not his territory, and that's probably why he's going to be laughing himself. He waves off coach, saying, all right, that's on me. He's wide open for a reason. He's only taken one other three-pointer this season. It went a little bit like that one did.
That's why I mentioned earlier, we don't see Steinfeld and Joe taking threes too often, but right there, I mean, he found himself open, so he said, why not?
Another triple. He made the first one. Can't get that one to go, though. How about this? That was Zion Richardson who poked the ball out of the hands of a driving Bingham. Probably saved a couple points there. He can't get done on the other side, though. This will set up a wide open three. Coakley bounces in and out, but the putback is in. Richardson, what a play.
And 2 straight offensive rebounds there by Quincy, something they did fairly well in that previous matchup at the Pepsi Arena.
They are the top team in the conference in offensive rebounding, and they show why they are on that play. Faking a three. Backing down a defender. He sees a double team. Steinfeld couldn't do it. Here's a triple from Nickerson, and it's off.
3 straight there. Missed 3 by the Greyhounds. They're getting the looks. They're not being able to knock him down, something they struggled with in that matchup in November.
Richardson coast to coast, but he gets fouled. Send him to the line. Looks like that's going to be against Bingham. We'll confirm that here. It will be Jesse Bingham, just a little too strong. As we saw Richardson trying to drive. They're going to say, though, that was not in the act of shooting. Jace, what do you think?
To me, it looked as if he was shooting when he got fouled, but the referees obviously saw that differently.
So instead, Richardson will inbound. Zion Richardson kicks it over to an open big man. He doesn't want to take the three. Foster saves it. Foster from the logo, he's got 10 to shoot. Comes in strong, no shot there, out of bounds, Greyhounds possession. What do you think of that? Isaiah Foster trying to go in on 2 great jerseys, one of them being 7 foot.
Yeah, one of them being Julian Steinfeld. Isaiah Foster only 6'1", going right at a 7-footer, almost a foot difference there. That's going to be hard to do for anybody, let alone a 6'1" guard.
Walker's going to drive in. This defense just collapsing hard on the offensive players. Not this time. Walker stepped back. That's a beautiful shot. Pokes forward, steps back, and drops a dagger.
He noticed the space he had. He saw it and like, I'll step back and shoot this one this time. And that's what you got to do to find those shots.
Just like that, Greyhounds back up by 3. And all of a sudden, leads to a penny. Wujek, a nice little shot on the inside. He had 7 rebounds and 3 blocks. A big man that can really affect the non-scoring columns in the stat sheet. Mason Wujek, the freshman. Strong drive, goes to the cup, drops it in. Bingham for another 2.
Like you said, that was a very strong drive. Went past one defender, right up on the other one, right-handed from the left side. It's a tough layup to hit.
Shockey's going to run the half-court set. Want to see more of a Hardman. He's only got 4 points. Greyhounds doing a good job of limiting him as we see a whistle blown. Greyhounds foul. Looks like they're going to call that against Josiah Tynes. His first brings us to the under 8. Let's go down to the sideline. Leticia.
Guys, and just like this, stomping his feet is Corsaro's almost every reaction to the Greyhounds' mistakes. Just in this last media timeout, he told the boys, we got unfinished business here. Their defense is good, but we got to keep rebounding and forcing pull-ups. Quincy's head coach, on the other hand, is having a hard time agreeing with some of the refs' decisions. So we'll see how the rest of this game will turn out right here on UINDY TV and the GLVC Sports Network.
Right now, by the way. Welcome back. Greyhounds ahead by 3. Jace, it's been a fun game, back and forth through the first bit of this one.
Definitely, and both defenses, after some slow starts, both teams had fireworks going there early on, but both defenses, just like you said, collapsing, going right into each other. It's a very physical battle here in the GLVC.
Quincy leads the rebounding category by a pair. Greyhounds, 7 assists. Been a pretty impressive number, playing good as a team. Quincy 12 points in the paint. They've really done a good job upping that number since the opening get-go.
Yeah, they began the game in the paint. And then just recently, in the last few possessions, they've been getting in the paint once again.
Isaiah Foster to run the offense. He gets a double team, the Greyhounds, so they get a steal. They do. How about that? Tynes and Walker.
And they were right up on him right there, that little block right there, not letting him go anywhere. He had nowhere to go. He couldn't pass the ball because you can't, I mean, his best option was to throw it behind his back at that point.
You know who's the happiest is the man standing half a step behind him. That was right in front of head coach Paul Corsaro. And man, he had to have been ecstatic seeing that. Steal, no, instead it's a kick ball. Greyhounds, some new life. Trying to increase the 3-point lead. Starting 4 of the starting 5 into the game for Indianapolis. Walker, the lone exception, in for Bingham. Poked out again. The Greyhounds will have an abbreviated shot clock. Williams launches one. Here's Walker. Didn't quite have enough time, but rebound. No, instead, they're going to call a foul. Another one on Kendrick Choa. That'll be his second.
I think that was called on Choa. He's kind of maintained position there, almost like an offensive lineman or defensive lineman kind of move to get around the Quincy player there.
So all that work amounts in Quincy eventually getting the ball about halfway through the clock. Saw it poked out a couple times by the Hawks. Full court trap in effect, though. Makes things a lot harder once you get into half court. You're tired. Hardman, Ejaw's the one that draws a tough assignment. Trying to corral it, Wujek. Tough drive, 3 to shoot. Pulls up, can't get it to go. Jamari Coakley can't do it. Ejaw another board.
Once again, the Greyhounds just not letting Quincy get anywhere near the bucket. They're forcing Quincy to take tough shots like that one right there from Jarvis Walker.
Goodness, you talk about a tough shot. Walker just buried one. A nice pull up there. It's his 5th point. Coach Corsaro visibly upset. Good work to Mason Wujek for that one. Back to a 3-point game. That's what it's going to take. Just keep going back and forth, answering some buckets. How about that? An and one. Williams to the line, team's best free throw shooter, top 10 in the conference. He shoots 83% from the stripe. Craig, who's buried a 3. Same with Bingham, who's buried a 3 and a few other tough shots. They both re-enter the game. Tynes and Walker get a break. Back in comes Zion Richardson as well. He'll give Hardman a break.
These are key minutes here. Then Hardman being out, the leading scorer on the season, 10th in the GLVC in points scored. See if UINDY can take advantage at this point.
They couldn't take advantage of the three-point play. But the board is Shockey. Here's the Linkskis, comes up with a tough shot. You're not going to hit that very often. That was a tough one. Great defense by Jacoby Robinson, who's now going to come charging forward, poked away. And now all the way to the cup, and it's blocked. Eja. Oh, that looked like a lot of basketball to me. Instead, they're going to say Eja fouled him. What do you think, Jace?
From this angle up here, it looked fairly clean. He may have had a piece of his arm, though. Couldn't tell too much from up here. I think the entire crowd also thought it was a clean block. It seemed clean from this angle. The refs, obviously the refs have the better angle of it than we do.
Foster 70% from the line, buries the first. Just like that, what was a 5-point lead out of nowhere. It's a little bit closer, and they could bring it within a single possession if Foster can hit this next one. Wujek to the bench. Checking in is Solomon Gustafsson, the starter. One of the more physical big men in the league. 6'8" from Rock Island, Illinois. That's what you got to do. When you get fouled, you got to hit both of those shots, and he does. Pretty good free throw shooting team in Quincy.
That's what they did, like you mentioned earlier in the game at Quincy at Pepsi Arena. 14 of 17 from the line, took advantage of those free throws when they had the chance to. And they won by 5 in that game, so, you know, those makes, they can break a game.
Trying to use the screen. Instead, he gets trapped in a corner. Here's a big 3, and it's an air ball. That is ugly. Rebound Richardson. Craig can't get it in or anywhere near. Just seemed like a hurried shot. The defense closed in tight, but just seemed like a hurried shot, Jace.
Definitely was a hurried shot, and you could tell coming out of his hands that was going to be long. It was just too much on the ball there.
10 left in the clock. Here's Foster losing the ball. Was Zelinskis, and looks like it'll go out on Craig. So just 4 seconds ago. This makes things tough. What can we expect here?
Either they're going to try to get the ball inside first, if I had to guess. Get some screens right here near the paint right there. There's some screens right there, but if they can't, they'll just kick it out like that.
Pretty smart, Jace. Called it pretty well. 2 to shoot. Tough shot. Almost got it. They get the rebound. No, it's going to be a foul. That was a tough shot taken by Nate Shockey, and man, he almost drained it. Craig gets it to Tynes, and Josiah Tynes will run the half-court set. A deep 3 straight away, not on the mark. Tynes misses. Linkskis with the rebound, his 5th. Firing the ball around the perimeter. Foster, now another pass. This is an unselfish team. They lose the ball. Should have taken the 3. Now instead he gets fouled. So Gustafsson shooting 70% from the stripe. He'll get 2. That'll bring us to the under 4 media timeout. That'll bring us to conversation with our very own Leticia Vaselli.
Oh my gosh, guys, what a nail-biting game. It's giving me the goosebumps all throughout this quarter. Sitting down on the bench, Josiah Tynes was complaining about how wide open he was, and just after the head coach yelled that they need to know what they're doing during the plays. Corsaro also begged Julian Steinfeld, and I quote, "Please put that 3 on your back." We'll be right back right here on the UINDY TV and the GLVC Sports Network.
Hey, it's Giselle here on 88.7 WICR.
88.7 The Diamond, the only jazz and classical station in Indianapolis, completely led by the students of the University of Indianapolis. Listen to us on iHeartRadio, TuneIn app, FM radio, HD radios, or even on our website at wicronline.org, a different kind of public radio.
You're looking at the Quincy Hawks, coached by Steve Hawkins. And he coached for Quincy from 1991 to 2000, a 9-year stretch. Then he went over to Western Michigan. That was from 2003 to 2020, a long stretch with that D1 squad. Then back at Quincy, trying to save the program. And so far, he's done a good job building something here in his second stint as the head man, his 11th overall year, 165 wins in that stretch.
You have to be a really good head coach to stay at a Division I school 17 years. Obviously, he was very much loved there at Western Michigan, a MAC school there. And he wanted to come back to where he began.
Yeah, the Hawks seem to like him enough to bring him back. Typically, I don't see coaches coming back to a school that they coach for, but it's a little bit different situation here. He's just so well beloved by this program. He's done a good job building him up. 15 and 16 last year. They're just a couple of wins away from matching that total as Gustafson splits the pair. Going to see Jacoby Robinson, typically a forward, running the half-court set. Got a bigger lineup out here. Bingham beats his man, leaves the guy open. That's Walker. He'll go in, kicks it back out. Jesse Bingham from three, too strong. Rebound goes, and here's Bingham again. Walker got the board, gets the bucket. Jarvis Walker puts the team up by 5.
And there was good ball movement that entire possession. They were getting the ball to the open player time and time again, whether it be in the corner or near the wing there.
Triple, Zion Richardson.
And that is an answer for you. Just when UINDY thinks they can start pulling this game away a little bit, the response from Zion Richardson quiets the crowd.
Quieted everybody except for Paul Corsaro, who bangs on his chest, very upset. Turns around, yelled something to his assistant coaches, trying to get this team figured out. Here's another three from the freshman. He's got 2 triples on the day. His name is Sean Craig.
And that's a good redemption shot after that air ball he had a few minutes ago. Now back-to-back threes in this game.
A quick answer from the paint on the other end, Gustafson.
Now both teams are starting to solve the puzzle of each other's defense here.
Hardman, the defender. Now they're going to switch over. Here's the screen. Gives Walker a look. He'll pull up. A tough shot from the line, and it's nowhere near good, but the Greyhounds will keep possession after the board goes awry. Etherington enters the game for Craig. Robinson to inbound. Walker joins this taller lineup. Gets it into Bingham. Goes in tough. Here's the slam. Julian Steinfeld with 2 hands.
And I'm not sure what Bingham's thought process was. I think he wanted to go for the shot first, but then saw Steinfeld wide open, dumped it down over top of the defender. That's what you got to do to get those open shots.
The 7-footer's going to put that in every single time when he's open. Corner shot. Here's a triple. Another air ball. Rebound goes to that man from Germany. Etherington from downtown. Air ball again. We've seen 2 straight air balls. These teams maybe start hitting the paint, you think?
I think so, or maybe not right here.
No, I think maybe. Maybe quit taking the threes if they're going to be that ugly. That time it was Zelinskas who shoots 38%. Top 20 in the conference in scoring, but just another ugly shot. Robinson gets it to the half court and calls a timeout. And with that, we're going to step aside. More next.
Award.
Greyhounds have held the lead for over half the game. Their largest being the 5 points that it is at right now. It's been a back and forth contest. A few lead changes, not any big leads. Greyhounds up by a handful. Bingham comes in hard. He's going to turn around. Look at that hook shot. Jesse Bingham.
And Bingham can do more than just feast from the outside. He can do that too. That's Bingham's game. He can go inside, outside. That's what makes him a dual threat.
The Warren Central State champion just hit 9 points on the day. Well on his way to breaking double figures for yet another time this season. He's so good at that. He's got 19 double-figure games already this season.
And that's why he already reached the 1,000-point mark in only his second year. Third year with the Greyhounds, redshirt sophomore he is. But Bingham's just a natural-born scorer.
Another timeout. We'll take one with them here on UINDY TV and the GLVCSN. Back at Nickerson Hall, the Greyhounds and Jesse Bingham, they just extended their lead, the biggest one now at 7 points. And I think the message here, if you can just get into the halftime break up by 7, up by 9 in that area, you'll be pretty happy.
It's been a good response ever since Quincy began the game really fast. Their 11-7 lead they held earlier in the game, but UINDY just responded, starting to solve that Quincy defense now, getting inside and kicking it back out and going back inside again. It's been working.
Facing the double team on the right elbow, sets up an open guy. Here's Richardson, what a move, and almost got the shot to go as well. Offensive board though, second chance. Foster from downtown. Isaiah Foster.
And that was a tough move. Got the defender to fly by. Quickly pulled up a three. It's a quick shot too. He has that form. Gets the ball right out of his hands as soon as he pump faked.
Man, that was a pretty make as well. 10 to shoot. The clock is turned off. Trying to find an open man. Here's Walker. Not the best shot. 3 to shoot. Trying to go into the buzzer beater. Here's Richardson. Launches one up and off the left side of the backboard. Back in November on the 26th day, heading into the break, Quincy was ahead 32-30. Today, it's UINDY with a 4-point advantage, 36-32 the score. And with that, let's head down to the sideline with Leticia Vaselli.
Hi guys, as we close out this first half, do not let the score deceive you because Corsaro's not happy at all. And very similar to him, the head coach of Quincy is also just as emotional at yelling and all his gestures towards the players. So if you want to come back and watch the second half, I will have a special guest with me. So stay tuned. You're watching UINDY TV and the GLVC Sports Network.
Across divisions, sports, championships, and schools for nearly 500,000 student athletes. College sports create lifelong opportunity, and that starts with education. We've raised the academic bar, so more are earning degrees, creating healthier campuses by working with the nation's brightest minds, and making sure more have the chance to succeed and are supported on their journey. But beyond the numbers, it's about opportunity, and we're working to provide it for every student athlete.
To them, the whole world looks like an opportunity, one to be seized, built upon, and made better for their sport and the people around it. To student athletes, every opportunity is a chance to change what could be and show the world what opportunity can do.
Number 32, Kyle Hornsby. Inside the 30, touchdown. Michaela Burgess.
An incredible finish by Hall.
The NCAA and its member schools offer nearly 500,000 college athletes a path to go pro in something other than sports. Learn more at ncaa.org.
I am an NCAA student athlete.
And I pledge to be a champion of unity
on my team, on my campus, and in my community.
I pledge to embrace differences and strive for inclusion and collaboration.
I pledge to stand against racism, hate, and discrimination.
I pledge to strive for love, care, and forgiveness.
I pledge to stand against silence, deceit, and obscurity.
I pledge to strive for dialogue, truth, and understanding.
I pledge to stand against fear and doubt.
I pledge to strive for trust and belief in one another.
I pledge to stand against complacency and stagnancy.
I pledge to strive for change and growth.
I commit to supporting my fellow student athletes in all circumstances that impact them.
I commit to both choosing unity personally and encouraging it for all.
I pledge these things because we are stronger together.
United as one.
In life, things aren't scripted.
If you're an athlete, we need people like you and translate those skills to officiating.
You can get a lot out of it.
It happens in every town, in every game.
We never have a perfect game, but the rewards always outweigh the negativities.
Number 32, Kyle Hornsby. Inside the 30, touchdown. Michaela Burgess.
An incredible finish by Hall.
The NCAA and its member schools offer nearly 500,000 college athletes a path to go pro in something other than sports. Learn more at ncaa.org/opportunity.
In NCAA Division II, student athletes leave a lasting impression on their communities. That's because Division II student athletes want to make a difference and truly be part of their surrounding communities. Through community engagement, thousands of student athletes from various backgrounds interact with community members who view them as role models. This interaction leaves a positive and perhaps even life-changing impression on all those involved. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
Wow, that's so many memories, I would say. I think the things that when my teammates and I get together, what we enjoy the most, I think, are just all the stories, all the things that happen between us playing against some of the best schools. You know, we played some Division I schools. We beat Eastern Illinois twice. A thrill for a Division II school to go in and to beat a Division I school. And I think we remember, you know, feeling like kind of the David versus Goliath. And that's what I think we realized, if you can come together as a group, you know, that you can have success. Well, I think any competitive person, it's tough. But I still look at it today. You know, it's been 30 years since I played competitive basketball, and in the business world and the education world, you lose, and things happen, and you go back to your playing days, and you got knocked down, and you got to get back up. So that was kind of our mantra. I think to have dreams. As a little kid, I had dreams that I wanted to do something athletically, you know, and basketball was my passion. And so I don't care what it is, do something that you like, that you're passionate about. That to me is the most important thing, and then work to achieve it. And if you work hard enough at it, I think your dreams can come true, even when people tell you it'll never happen. And that to me was kind of the David versus Goliath thing. Yeah, and it's a cliche, but I do think life is a game. Life is a competition. And I think I was prepared because I competed in college, and I say the same thing to people. You kind of those same attributes. You have to work hard, you have to practice what you want to do, and you have to believe in yourself, and you have to have those dreams, and you put that package together, and I think it's a pretty good package for success. Hi, I'm Larry Tucker. I'm a former NCAA student athlete from Lewis University.
Champions know how to seize opportunities. When they see moments of greatness unfold right before their eyes, they push as hard as they possibly can, and then they push harder. Because the heart of a champion never settles, never quits, and never stops giving its all. We are champions. We are Division II. We go big, we give it everything we've got, and we win. On the field, on our campuses, in our communities, for our causes, in our careers. We rise to become champions in everything we do. We are Division II, and there are no limits here. We make our time count. We set our own path. We become champions on our terms. It's time to up your game, because we're here to play and learn. But most importantly, we're here to discover ourselves, our vision, our heart, our drive, to achieve every goal we aim for, because we want to be champions at the highest level, life. At Division II, the opportunities are here. Are you ready?
If I lose, I'll respond with respect.
If I win, I'll back it up with humility.
If I fail, I'll rise up with honor. It's tough for us to put it all on the line.
Don't undo my hard work with poor sportsmanship.
Respect. It's the name of the game.
I pledge.
I
I am an NCAA student athlete.
And I pledge to be a champion of unity
on my team, on my campus and in my community.
I pledge to embrace differences and strive for inclusion and collaboration.
I pledge to stand against racism, hate, and discrimination.
I pledge to strive for love, care, and forgiveness.
I pledge to stand against silence, deceit, and obscurity.
I pledge to strive for dialogue, truth, and understanding.
I pledge to stand against fear and doubt.
I pledge to strive for trust and belief in one another.
I pledge to stand against complacency and stagnancy.
I pledge to strive for change and growth.
I commit to supporting my fellow student athletes in all circumstances that impact them.
I commit to both choosing unity personally and encouraging it for all.
I pledge these things because we are stronger.
Welcome back, everybody, to the broadcast. I'm here with a special guest, like I promised, Grady the Greyhound, and he is shaking with excitement for this second half because we're just 4 points of difference in this game, and I'm excited too. Julian Steinfeld, one of the tallest player on UINDY, actually scored a dunk to close this first half, and now I'm excited for the second tip-off. Back to you guys.
Thanks a lot, Leticia. Should be a lot of promise for half number 2. It was a 5-point win for Quincy back in November. Currently a 4-point lead out of the half for UINDY. You see some of the top scores there. UINDY, of course, leading in the scoring category, but they're right there when it comes to field goal percentage, 3-point percentage, rebounding, assist. It is neck and neck, and that's why we only have a 4-point game. As far as the first half goes, though, Jace, what do you think are the main reasons why UINDY is currently ahead?
Towards the end of the first half there, they were figuring out how to break down Quincy's defense. They're kicking the ball inside, then kick it back out, and then get it back in again. The best example of that was when Bingham drove in and passed the ball over the head of the defender and down to Steinfeld. Sometimes you have to attack the defender, then pass it right as you're going at the defender to get that open look.
One area of the defense they've really been attacking is the perimeter. The Greyhounds, they average 8 3-pointers made a game. They currently have 6 in half number 1. It's been impressive. Already attacking the inside, though. His name is Jacoby Robinson.
It's his first points in the night. Someone will see it going usually faster than that. He started off the year fairly well, has been fairly quiet the last few games, but Jacoby Robinson still making impacts night in, night out.
Coming off an 11.7 rebound, 5 assist night against Truman State. He had an impressive day on Thursday. Against Quincy, though, just 5 points and 4 assists. Way back in November. One of his more quiet games. Quincy defense knew how to neutralize him. And so far today, they've showed that as well. His first bucket, like you mentioned. Coakley's going to come in strong, but the clock expires. The Greyhounds took him 30 seconds.
This Greyhound defense, you can't say many more good things about it than we've already said before. This Greyhound defense is just so active on the defensive end, keeping the hands up, not fouling very much either. That's the thing about it. You don't foul, this defense is the best in Division II.
Here's a wide open triple, bounces around, it's a miss. Tynes looked like he had a good shot, but it clanks off. Rebound goes to Hardman.
And Tynes, 49% on the year from behind the arc. You won't see him miss that kind of chance too often. I'm sure if Quincy leaves him open again, he'll knock down the next one.
Turnaround, thought about a jumper instead to reset things. Poked out of bounds, Quincy keeps possession. That's Malik Hardman. He averages 15 and 6 per game, but right now, the Greyhounds have held him to just 4 points and 3 rebounds. He does have 2 turnovers as well, leads the team in minutes. They've just done a good job putting guys on him.
Yeah, that's what I'm sure it was a focus from head coach Paul Corsaro, was to focus on Hardman, double team him at any chance possible right there, try to pass it to him.
A steal wide open, it's Robinson, lays it in. What's the grade you give him on the fast break?
The grade? On a scale of 1 to 10, I'll give it a 6. You should have dunked that one, get more emphasis on it, get the crowd into it early in the second half.
You're pretty generous. I'd say it's a 3. He had a wide open chance to bring the roof off of Nickerson Hall. Lays it in. Coach Corsaro gives him the 10, though. I'm sure he's happy with the 3 points there. On the fast break, gives the Greyhounds only 2 buckets of this half through the first 2 minutes. When we return, more next.
Hey, it's Giselle here on 88.7 WICR.
88.7 The Diamond, the only jazz and classical station in Indianapolis, completely led by the students of the University of Indianapolis. Listen to us on iHeartRadio, TuneIn app, FM radio, HD radios, or even on our website at wicronline.org, a different kind of public radio.
Scoreless 2 minutes for the Hawks. The Greyhounds, the first 2 buckets coming out of the break, and they've looked pretty good coming out of halftime. Currently ahead by 8. That's their biggest lead of the game.
I'm looking at the stats right here. UINDY's points, they're well distributed. It's not one guy taking control. Bingham with 9, Walker with 8, Craig with 6, and a few others with 5, 4, and 3. It's just all spread out. It's very much a team effort so far tonight.
That's what we talked about with Quincy, why they're so dangerous, is because you don't see one guy putting up all the points. And UINDY's right there with them. They've got the depth to compete with anybody. The top 7 team in the nation for a reason. And the Power 10, they rank number 6. As we head towards regionals, the Greyhounds, as far as ranking goes, the highest ranked team in the region. That means that they very well could host regionals if they continue on the streak that they've got. Have 7 NCAA tournament games in Nicholson Hall. Jace, doesn't sound like a bad idea to me.
Not at all. Not at all.
Bingham is going to drive in and find 2 jerseys. Good to see the Hawks double teaming him. It's what it's going to take. Block on the glass. Put back is good. The offensive board. And the lay-in. Kendrick Choa looking pretty good. He's got 5 points now and 3 rebounds, 2 assists, a block.
We didn't see as much from Choa as you would expect in the first half. 2 fouls early on, so he sat the bench out the rest of that first half.
Here's Richardson having himself a good day. Leads the game in scoring. Feeds his man inside. Gustafsson lays it in. He's got 9 points now. He's having a good contest.
And they keep getting the ball to him inside. That's what you got to do with him. Gustafsson, he feasts inside that paint.
Both of Choa's fouls have come away from the paint. It's been on these moving screens, things away from the bucket. He just seems like he's kind of given a little bit of physicality on the inside and letting Gustafsson go to work, trying to avoid fouls inside the paint. It's been an issue the last couple games. Williams pulls up, kind of leans back, maybe looking for some contact. Jason said he'd like to see him maybe lean forward and kind of try to close the gap between him and the bucket. He had a decently open lane.
Yeah, like I said, you want to lean forward there, force the refs to call something.
Gustafsson up high and down low. He's got 11. 5 of 5 from the field. A dunk will do that for you. Look at this. Solomon Gustafsson.
And the feed from Paul Zielinskis as well to find them split 2 defenders there. To find Gustafsson running.
Fine Coach Corsaro giving him some words when we return. We'll have more on UINDY TV and the GLVC Sports Network.
Award-winning news coverage. Brought to you by ethical journalists that care about you. We have you covered on crime, latest on sports, and the best in entertainment. This is UINDY.
Just 2 minutes into the game, Jacoby Robinson had the court all to himself, forcing Quincy to take a timeout after his easy layup, during which Corsaro reinforced the guys to keep up the lead. And Jesse Bingham is also not too happy about all this talking he's hearing from Quincy players while he's playing his game. Back to you, boys.
Bingham, a silent type. You're not going to hear a ton of trash talk from him. He leads by example. We see that so often. So I'm Nathaniel Finch. Standing to my right, Jace Hodge. We've got a good game in front of us. Right now it's the Greyhounds. They're ahead by 4. They've led for over half the game, but it's not been by much. It's been back and forth.
It's the same kind of game we saw at Pepsi Arena. Back and forth game, then Quincy took control late.
How about that? Controlling the inside, getting the rebound, and is fouled. That was Steinfeld going up to clean up after Bingham. And let me tell you, Bingham navigating traffic on the inside, bullying guys. That was pretty impressive. He was just a little short on the bucket.
And Steinfeld's height, you can just use it to his advantage so easily. Just go up, reach up, grab the rebound over everybody else.
Walker goes up strong and is blocked. The third, I said it, third block of the day for Gustafsson.
And he has come alive so far in the second half. Gustafsson has been one of their main players and one of the main reasons they're in this game right now.
I don't know if you can call that a block. If not, it's a steal by the 7-footer who jumps up and knocks it out of the air. Gustafsson. Got to get a little bit higher over the German. Steinfeld now helps with the screen, trying to set up some offense. Steinfeld had an open 3. Wisely hands it off. I'm sure Coach Corsaro, like Leticia said, told him, hey, put those on the back burner. We don't need to see any more threes from you, big man. You find so much success in the paint. Tight pass. Look at this. Open from the corner. Richardson too short. Another offensive board. Another chance at second chance points, and it's blocked. Quincy will keep the ball, but how about that? The big man with the block. Sees limited minutes, but he's still 10th in the conference in offensive rebounds, 9th in the conference in blocks. He's so good, even in his limited time, coming in and putting up some numbers as the big man. Doesn't score a ton, but they don't ask him to.
It's nice to have someone like that that's tall, can go and get a rebound when you need to get rebounds. You can use them to your advantage. Use them when you want to.
They sure could have used Julian Steinfeld in that game in November. Instead, he was out with an early season knee injury, sustained in just the second game of the season. The Greyhounds are happy to have him back for this matchup. How about that? The hoop and the harm. Going up strong and was fouled. That's Mason Wujek. Send him to the line. Let's take a look at this one.
Kendrick Choa there took a tumble and it left Wujek wide open and just couldn't recover there on defense to get the block in time, so the foul was called.
Third foul. We don't see this very often, but already in foul trouble is Josiah Tynes. He's got 3. He'll head to the bench. Bingham comes back in. Had to shorten his break a little bit. And for Tynes, you're not too worried about him fouling out, but you still got to bring him out with those 3 fouls.
And no one's there to inbound, no one's there to get the inbound from Robinson.
And now the Greyhounds are a little flustered. You saw Robinson pretty frustrated. That's going to show here on the court for the next minute or two. If I'm Coach Corsaro, if this play doesn't go right, I'm going to call a timeout. Bingham feeds the big man on the inside. And another and one, back to back.
And that's what you got to do to respond. Get the ball. So they get the ball into their big man, we'll go right back at you. Get the ball into your big man.
Wujek hit the and one 3-point play on the left side of the floor. We move over to the right side. And here, how about that feed? And Akashak as Choa gets sent to the line.
That pump fake caused the defender jump in the air. That's what he wanted to happen. He wanted the defender jump up so he can try to get the and one as well.
I'll tell you what, Jace, Kendrick Choa is not going to shoot a 3-pointer. I haven't seen him shoot one in the 3 years that I've watched him play basketball. I did see him shoot one in practice, though, which kind of surprised me. But he's not going to shoot any threes. However, he gets plenty of 3-point plays. He just feasts on these and one opportunities. Look at that man. Full court trap comes in quickly. We've got 5 seconds to cross the timeline. They do just that. Isaiah Foster. Halfway through the clock. Tipped away, but right in the hands of Richardson into the corner. Now they're going to reset. Now Foster chalks up a triple. It's a high arcing make. Isaiah Foster.
That is impressive. He arced it over the tall hands there. Just one of the highest arcing shots you'll really see.
Yeah, you don't see those very often. That was impressive. He got it to drop in. And this time it rolls around the cup. Bingham can't hit double figures. Greyhounds trying to protect a 1-point lead. It gets knocked out of bounds by Jacoby Robinson.
And Robinson was not having any of that from Isaiah Foster.
No. Top 15 in the conference in blocks, and he shows why. He just goes up there and asserts his dominance a little bit. That's how you take your frustration off. Now he's tasked on defense, and he gets the steal there. Walker, great defense. Could have been a foul, was not. Instead, here's the foul. Send Kendrick Choa to the line. It was on the gather. He'll get 2 shots.
And you can tell how tense this game is for both sides. UIndy wanted to get the revenge. Quincy wanted to get the sweep on the number 7 team in the nation.
There's not a lot of teams that can come into Nickerson Hall with the confidence that they could beat up on the Greyhounds. But you know Quincy comes in saying, hey, this is our game to lose, right? They've even known we've already beat these guys. Granted, it was on our floor. But you're just playing with a different type of confidence when you know that you've beaten this team before. It's not like, say some of these other squads that have come in. Maryville came in, not quite playing to the level. McKendree came in knowing that, it's going to be a tough game. UIndy won that one by 25. But Quincy comes in knowing that they can just play their basketball and give the Greyhounds all they can handle, and they have so far to this point. It's a 1-point lead. Trying to make that 2 points, he does.
Going off the back of that, the confidence is heightened, I would say. Is it one of only 2 losses the entire year? Quincy, they know 19-2 UIndy Greyhounds, we beat them. We can do it again.
They've got a little bit tougher of a stretch in their schedule, the Greyhounds do. They play Quincy, who beat them in November. Then they play Rockhurst, who beat them on the 3rd day of December. That game will come on the road on Thursday, so a big road trip coming up for UIndy. But first, they got to get past this first one. And you got to imagine if they can't win this game against Quincy, it's going to give them a lot more hesitancy against Rockhurst on Thursday, knowing like, hey, we couldn't figure out how to exercise these demons on Saturday. It'll make things a lot more tense for them on Thursday. Here's the scrum. Choa gets the steal. And now quickly moving in transition. Almost stolen away. He's got Bingham open. He's going to take that. Straight away 3. Robinson! Yes, sir! Quickly in transition. We've seen this so many times, and they silence the crowd. Jace, you don't have to hit a 3 to match to get the crowd silent. You just got to hit a quick one. They move so well. Both teams in transition after a triple.
Taking advantage of kind of the celebrations UIndy had. They hit the 3, kind of lapsed off on defense there.
UIndy hit 6 threes in the first half. This is their first since the break. Little fade away, a little too short. How about that? Big man, put some hustle in your muscle. That is Jarvis Walker.
And that is just pure weight room strength right there, Jarvis Walker, ripping it out of the hands of the Quincy player.
Then he gets caught in the screen, sets up an open look, and the ball goes off the top of the backboard. And suddenly the Greyhounds can put together a bit of a run here. After that shot earlier, now they can have the ball here and try to put together a couple of buckets. Look at this replay, though. I mean, it doesn't get any stronger than that. This one, straightaway 3. Credit to Quincy's defense, though. They didn't stop, but look at this. Credit to Jarvis Walker.
Pure strength that is right there.
Beautiful display of basketball. Coach Corsaro's got to love that in the paint. He says that's a big key to this game. They got to get some rebounds. That time it was a good one. Bruno Williams, defense has shut him down. He'll kick out for another corner 3. Not quite the trajectory, but another rebound for Steinfeld. And thought about a 3. Probably wisely takes a few steps forward. Yeah, backing down Foster.
Yeah, the size advantage there Robinson did.
Williams, downtown, too strong. Couple poor shots from beyond the arc for UIndy. They were open, though, and they just couldn't get the right form. Here's another 3. We've seen a lot of these. This one is in. Connor Davis. Haven't heard of him yet. Comes in and drains one.
And how about this matchup so far? Living up to the hype it received all week long.
Just when it looked like the Greyhounds could start to pull away, Indianapolis sees their lead shrink. It's now a 2-point game. Blocking foul, Williams to the line. Talked about how good he shoots from the foul stripe. One of the better free throw shooting players in the conference today. He's 1 of 2 from the line. Look at this. It's a nice 3. Not going to see that too often from Connor Davis. Let's head down to the sideline with Leticia Vaselli.
Quincy's head coach really needs to get his hands on some soap to wash Zion Richardson's mouth, because he always has something to say, which surprises me. The referees haven't said anything about it just yet. Steve Hawkins also emphasized the importance of forcing the Greyhounds out of the arc and not letting any gaps, because he knows that they will score. Stay tuned for the rest of these 11 minutes after this game right here on UINDY TV and the GLVC Sports Network.
Award-winning news coverage. Brought to you by ethical journalists that care about you. We have you covered on crime, latest on sports, and the best in entertainment. This is UINDY.
Looking at the Greyhound huddle, currently sporting a very small lead. Bruno Williams to the line to try to double it. But look at this, great ball movement, sets up a wide open three. And then on the very next possession, Jarvis Walker doing what he does best. It's just been a crazy back and forth stretch. The three from Connor Davis, the redshirt freshman, forward. Bruno Williams to the line, he'll have two. Nate Shockey picks up his second foul. Williams with a quiet crowd. Buries the first.
I was getting ready to mention how quiet it got. It was
pretty
you could hear a pin drop on that court.
It's gotten loud at times though here in Nickerson Hall this afternoon. As Williams makes it a two-possession game.
I feel like UIndy's just been cruising along, holding this 2 to 5 point lead throughout the majority of the game.
Largest lead was 8. That was a few minutes into the second half, but you're right, it's just been back and forth. Here's a triple from the corner. 2 for 2, Connor Davis. Are you kidding me?
And at this point, you've got to learn, do not leave Connor Davis open from behind the arc, as he will make you pay.
Who would have thought you'd be saying that when you woke up this morning? Connor Davis, my goodness.
He only averages 3 points per game, so he has 6 right now.
Here's a three, in and out. Greyhounds settle, and it costs them. And a foul. Eja picks it up after he missed the triple. He will foul, looks like Jamari Coakley. Just like that, it's a 1 point game, and Quincy's going to have the ball with a chance to take the lead.
And Quincy, the last few minutes, has been in this position a few times, down by 1. They haven't been able to capitalize quite yet to take that lead. Their last lead being 13 to 10.
Davis, can he go for another one? He's got the ball now, trying to feed him. Instead, he falls in a foul, a second straight one for David Eja. That'll be his, all of a sudden, third foul. He's going to have to go take a seat. Sean Craig comes in.
Cannot afford to get in foul trouble. That's both Tynes and Eja now with 3, and Choa still has 2 out there.
Foster running point with the second team. Double team. Trying to put some pressure on Davis. That's what you got to do with the freshman. Little floater. Off the back end of the iron. Rebound goes to Sean Craig. It's the reason you bring him in. Zelinskis continues a subpar day from the field. Coming in strong. He's fouled. Tries to split the double team. Too much contact. And Bruno Williams to the line where he finds so much success. He's got 7 points right now. 3 of those from the foul line. Also has 3 assists. Put together a pretty good day so far.
Right there, you saw him go right at 2 defenders. He did not care there's going to be contact. And as a player in basketball, you've got to take contact. It's going to be part of the game.
And Williams takes it almost better than anybody else. Gets to the line so often and shoots better than most everybody else in the GLVC. Davis gets a break. Get a well-earned high five and a little cup of water on the bench as in comes Malik Hardman. Clanks the first. UIndy's made just 1 of their last 5 from the field. They're getting most of their points of late from the foul stripe. Get one here. 2-point lead. Zelinskas 0 for 8 from the field. He does not have a point, but he's got the ball now. Trying to find something to do with the ball in the half-court set is Jamari Coakley. Halfway through the clock. He loses the ball, poked out of bounds. It'll be Quincy ball, but with 10 seconds to shoot. What a job on defense from Bruno Williams.
Just pure hustle, Bruno Williams. Pure hustle. Second team all GLVC last year at Lewis. He transferred over here to UINDY and is part of the reason this UINDY team is now 7th in the nation and best team in the GLVC.
A deep three, my goodness. Had to take it because the clock was about to expire, but there's not a lot of probability in that shot from Zion Richardson.
Like you mentioned, at some point you got to just chuck one up, getting late in the shot clock. You got no other option. You'd rather take the shot than not take it and have the shot clock violation. Take your chances.
Bruno Williams runs back and forth trying to find some offense. Allen's up by a bucket. Trying to make it 2. Here he goes. And that's double figures.
And that hop step right there got him in between those two defenders. That's a tough shot, too, from Bingham over another one.
His 20th game this season where he's scored 10 or more points. He's sitting at 11 right now, coming off a nice 16-point affair against Truman State. Again, he had 15 in the first matchup. Here's a triple, too strong, foul. I'm going to say this one is against Choa. That would be big. He's undoubtedly going to the bench. Third foul for Kendrick Choa.
And now you have to start relying on some of these bench players. I wouldn't call them reserves. They play a lot of minutes, but start relying on them more than you have before with Choa, Tynes, and Ija.
I mean, Jace, look it up and down this roster. If you take out the Greyhounds starters, and if you gave them a team of just their second team players, I mean, they're still upper echelon of the GLVC. They are comfortable with a lot of these guys. That's why they give them so many minutes. One of which is Julian Steinfeld, who's going to see some run over the next few. That big number 21 you see standing on the GLVC logo. Coakley drives in, kicks out. Here's a 3, and it's blocked. Call him 0 for 9 now, and now open is Bingham. He's going to come up strong. He gets fouled. Jesse Bingham to the line.
Making plays on both ends of the floor. Jesse Bingham right here gets the ball, waits for the defender, draws that contact there, allows him to go to the line, get 2 shots here.
What else could Zion Richardson have done? He was in a bit of a bind there, finding himself in the painted area with number 3.
We heard earlier Bingham was complaining about some of the words Quincy had for him. We heard that Zion Richardson was one of them. So right there, Bingham getting his way against Richardson.
You know he's not going to say any trash talk after getting fouled. He's just going to go and hit these 2 free throws or some combination of that and almost prove Richardson wrong. We'll say that with Bingham, free throw shooting's been his one weakness on the season. He shoots 60% from the line. We're going to have a little conversation here. Coach Corsaro trying to figure things out. Steve Hawkins asking what's going on as well, and we'll head to a timeout. More next after this.
Award-winning news coverage. Brought to you by ethical journalists that care about you.
The first of 2 free throws. It's a miss from Bingham. A little bit of confusion on the floor. They finally get things sorted out. Bring in Jarvis Walker to come in for Bruno Williams. Walker, who started last game. 4 points in just 14 minutes. Didn't see a lot of run. But again, he got that start.
And right there, I heard Richardson. I could see what he was saying. He said, he can't shoot, he can't shoot, he can't shoot, as Bingham was shooting the free throw.
It didn't matter. Bingham hit it. Foul, though, a little too strong. The aforementioned Jarvis Walker. It's going to be the 6th foul called against the Greyhounds. Each team has committed 6, and means from now on, any common foul is going to see bonus shots. Tell you what, Jace, foul shooting And just fouls in general, a big reason why Quincy was able to get the win last time, as we see a double team, a little too much to handle for Gustafsson. Sets up a long two-pointer, and it's too strong. But the putback is fouled. So we'll see Gustafsson at the line. But in this last matchup on November 26th of last year, this season, it was Quincy who only committed 13 team fouls throughout the entire game. It was pretty impressive. They didn't send the Greyhounds to the line very often. That's why they only had 7 attempts from the foul line. So this time they're actually going to huddle. And with that, let's have a conversation with Leticia Vaselli.
Guys, just in this last media timeout, Corsaro told the guys that they have to squeeze Quincy. And after David Ejaw's second foul, Corsaro took him out of play and told him to put his Superman cape on because that wasn't going to cut it. He also told Choa that he and the others shove Quincy players way too much, and that's got to stop to not rack up those fouls. Stay tuned for the rest of this game right here on UINDY TV and the GLVC Sports Network.
By 5. We only have 8 more minutes to go in this contest, at least in regulation, Jace. We can't rule out some overtime. This has been a close one. Hard fought. It's been a lot of fun to watch.
This is what we expected out of this game. You know, Quincy, nothing to lose here. They've already beaten this Greyhound team before, and they have the most confidence of any team against this Greyhound team, beating them before.
Trying to cut the lead by a couple. This is Gustafsson, Solomon Gustafsson, the junior. Can't hit his first. Luckily for him, he gets a second. And trying to break a scoreless 3 minutes for the Hawks.
And Quincy still trying to keep pace here in the GLVC. They're not too far behind. If they were able to get the win today, they'd only be 2 games behind the Greyhounds in the standings.
Currently ranked 3rd behind UMSL. Ranked 3rd in the GLVC points system, which is how they determine the playoff seeding. I'll tell you more about that in a second, but first a steal. How about that? Diving in, getting his jersey dirty a little bit, Malik Hardman. The way that the GLVC is going to determine the seeding for the GLVC tournament, of course, that includes who all will host the first round, because they spend that Monday, the last Monday in February. The top 8 teams will host. Of course, the number 1 seed gets a bye. That would be UINDY if we stood right here. So the next 7 would host a game. The next few after that, they get the pleasure of traveling on the road before everybody heads to St. Charles, home of the Lindenwood Lions, who just left the GLVC for the OVC in D1. So the Greyhounds currently ranked number 1 in those standings. You get 7 points for a win over the top echelon in the league. That's 7-5-0 or above in terms of your winning percentage. And to put that in perspective, you would get 3 points for a win over a sub-250 team. So you beat up good teams, you get more points. Beat up poor teams, you get a little bit, but not quite as much. And you get very small amounts for losses. So, of course, the Greyhounds only having 2 losses, one of them being against such a good Quincy team. Ranked number 1 in the standings, but you're right, it's pretty close to where Quincy, has an outside shot of climbing up the rankings. And at the very least, climbing up to number 2 over UMSL.
Yeah, and still the UMSL win looks really good for the Greyhounds, and they still have to play UMSL one more time. So another chance for UINDY to get some more points to their name.
Greyhounds' lead was cut to 2. It's now at 3. And Kendrick Choa double figures yet again. He's got 10 points, 4 rebounds. It's his 19th game in double figure scoring. He has 6 double-doubles, including 1 just on Thursday against Truman State. Two to shoot. They need to get one off. Here's a fired shot, and it's finally a make. How about that? Paul Zelinskis dropped one in, his first in 10 attempts.
And that ties up the game.
How about that? 58 all. 6 and change to go.
And that was a tough shot by Zelinskis. Time running out, barely got the ball out of his hand in time.
Choa strong on the inside, open shot, but he misses it, gets his own board, and then he gets fouled. You're not going to see a lot of misses from the man who shoots the nation leading 74% from the field. But when he does, he often gets that offensive rebound, gets his own. Craig checks in. So does Mason Wujek. Chase, we've talked about how important that UMSL win was for UINDY when they beat him here in this building. For Quincy, they traveled to St. Louis and played the Tritons. They ended up losing that game by 11. It's a tough arena to go play in when you're at UMSL's home, and that's what UINDY's going to have to do here in a couple weeks.
UINDY already beat them once, and it's similar to what we said with Quincy. Quincy, they already beat UINDY once. For UINDY, they already beat UMSL once, so they'll have that confidence heading into that away game.
7-point win. When the Tritons traveled the 3.5 or so hours to downtown Indianapolis.
And that was the one I believe jump-started this UINDY team, really. Both teams were ranked. It was a ranked matchup. UMSL was ahead of UINDY at the time in the GLVC point system. But then UINDY getting that win, they skyrocketed in the rankings. And ever since that, they've just been flying up the rankings.
This game could change that, though. UINDY currently ranked 7th in the nation. Quincy keeping them close. Down by a bucket. Straight away, Zelinskis. Look at that. He just gets smacked. They're going to say it's a shot clock violation. Pretty impressive little block for Jesse Bingham. You heard that one go off the palm of his hand from all the way up here. Full court press. Coakley with some tough defense. Tynes scoreless today, 0 for 4. All of his shots from downtown uncharacteristic of him. How about that though, Bingham? A nice little shot over the head of a couple defenders. He's got 14.
It had to be tough to even see the basket for Bingham. He was falling backwards into 2 defenders. That's a tough shot to make for anybody.
Knocked out of bounds. Quincy will keep possession. Sean Craig getting a nice little move on defense to knock it out. How about this? UINDY, in their 19 wins, every single one of them, they've scored more than 63 points. In their 2 losses, though, it's been that under 63 mark. Right now, they're sitting at 62, so as long as they can continue to score here, at least historically this season, it's going to set them up well for a win. But can Quincy buck the trend? They've already bucked the trend of only one of the 2 losses the Grounds have had. Richardson's going to help with that. Drops in one from the right block. He's got 12 points. Hasn't scored in a while, though. Richardson back on the board. This could be a bit of a floodgate opening. Greyhound's doing a good job adjusting on defense since his hot start. Look at this. Look how handsy this defender is. And Malik Hardman making things really tough for UINDY's offense, especially the freshman in Craig. Bingham thought about a 3. He'll drive up from mid-range and too short. Bingham's short on a lot of those mid-range shots. It's not something you'd expect, but he's a volume shooter. Currently 5 of 13, but it leads the game in scoring.
I think Bingham should have pulled that 3 when he had it. He was open.
Walker fouled, or he fouls Zion Richardson. I beg your pardon. So Richardson will go to the line, get a couple opportunities. Walker's second foul. We talked about how big of a difference fouls and free throw shooting was in that first contest where the Grounds only got 7 opportunities from the line, and Kendrick Choa has 11 by himself. This team, 11 of 19. You want to see him make more. Like those 8 misses, not a good look, but at least they're getting to the line a lot more than that first game. And whereas it's been kind of the opposite for Quincy, this is just their 10th attempt from the line. They have hit 8 of them, though. Steinfeld and Giants for the game for the team in gray. Back in comes Jacoby Robinson as well. We have a tie game in front of us. 4:18 to go. UINDY, they've gotten some experience with close games. 2 of their last 3 have been decided in the final minutes. They're getting that experience, not just blowing teams out, but the invaluable experience of how to close out games. Coming in strong, navigating traffic, dropping it in the bucket. His name is Jesse Bingham.
Bingham, that's your guy in the late game. Bingham, leading scorer. You have to rely on him sometimes. Bingham. He'll close out the game for you. Like you mentioned, learn how to close out games. Bingham is your closer.
Trying to get one in, they cannot. Foul called. To the line go the Hawks as we hit the under 4 media timeout. And if I'm Coach Corsaro, I am reminding my team, hey, every single practice we go over 4-minute wars, and that's going to come up here. Let's go down to Leticia.
Guys, I think everybody is in awe with how this game is so close. It's going to be a nail-biting fight to the finish line. So stay tuned for the last 3 minutes of this game to find out who takes the revenge tonight. And you'll get to hear my conversation with Coach Corsaro to see what he thinks about this game in comparison to the last game. Stay tuned right here on UINDY TV and the GLBC Sports Network.
Hey, it's Giselle here on 88.7 WICR.
88.7 The Diamond, the only jazz and classical station in Indianapolis, completely led by the students of the University of Indianapolis. Listen to us on iHeartRadio, TuneIn app, FM radio, HD radios, or even on our website at wicronline.org, a different kind of public radio.
Take a look at this replay. Our wonderful director, Colin Jung, providing that one. This is a buzzer beater from earlier. Paul Zelinskis forced to take a shot. He hit it. Now on the other end. Top 100 on the Bevo Francis Award watch list. That means the top 100 players in Division II, and potentially can be one of the finalists for that if he continues with a strong season. He's been one of the better players in the GLVC. Definitely on the watch for the GLVC Player of the Year. He's almost a lock for the GLVC first team. He has been impressive this season. His name is Jesse Bingham. His father played basketball at IUPUI. He played at Warren Central where they won the 2018 state title, went undefeated that year. David Bell, former Purdue wide receiver, now Arizona Cardinals wide receiver on that team as well. It was him, Bell, and Jacoby Robinson who really led the charge, and you couldn't guard any of those three men. Missing two of them, though. You can't have that late in games when you're down by 2. The rebound goes to Choa.
It's going to make him eat his words. Richardson, he's been one talking smack all game long to the Greyhounds. Missed 2 crucial free throws there.
Hardman, good defense. Bingham tries to go up to the cup, gets his own board, puts another one up, misses 2 straight, gets another rebound. How about that? Bingham, a one-man band, second, now third straight opportunity. He finally converts. Coach Corsaro launches his hands up, asking for a foul. Hounds up by 4.
Stack up the stat sheet right there.
Richardson, dribble drive, tosses up a 2, can't get it to go. 7th rebound of the day for the man now on double watch. His name is Kendrick Choa. Went off a 22-point performance where he had double-figure rebounds as well. Foul called, looks to go against the Greyhounds. It'll be Quincy ball. Just the 5th turnover for UINDY. How about that? They've done a good job limiting. And actually, they're not even going to say it's a turnover. That's even worse. That's going to be the 4th foul called against Kendrick Choa. That's big. Choa 4 fouls. You play a lot different, don't you, Jace?
You do. And Tynes also has 2 fouls. You see him right there on defense. So 2 players with 4 fouls in the game right now for the Greyhounds.
We talked about how Tynes doesn't pick up too many fouls, and right now, like you said, in foul trouble. Could very well over the next 2.5 minutes see this. That should be a turnover. It sure is. Oh, are they going to say they granted him the timeout first? What did we see there? I think they gave Coach Hawkins the timeout. We'll talk about it next. And boy, let me tell you, you got to know the name Jesse Bingham. Here's why.
Jesse Bingham, 18 points on the night, leading scorer for the Greyhounds. Also 5 assists and 2 rebounds that he just got right there. You saw 2 rebounds in a row. Also has 2 blocks to his name, making an impact both on offense and defense tonight.
As a team, the Greyhounds with 12 offensive boards, 2 of those coming right there. They're playing against the team who's ranked number 1 in the conference when it comes to offensive rebounding. That's the Hawks, but the Greyhounds leading in that category. High shot, the runner with the left hand. Can't get it to go. Jamari Coakley misses. It'll be Robinson to bring up the ball. Left wing drive, comes in hard, kicks it out. Can we see the first 3 of the day from Tynes? And we can't. Rolls out in a collective sigh from everybody in Nickerson Hall. Down 4, needing a bucket. Just limited time to go. Your best player can't hit it. That's Hardman who misses another one. And now a timeout. Are they going to award it or are they going to say it's a jump ball? They're talking this one over. How about this little slumber party on the GLVC logo? 4 guys hit the deck. Are they going to call it a foul? They're talking this one over. Jace, what do you see?
I think the best call here is a jump ball. I think that is what they just called it, was a jump ball. There's just so much going on down there. You can't really determine if there's a foul. I mean, there's people falling on each other. There's going to be fouls in there, but you can't call it on everybody.
Choa back into the game. And boy, he's going to be playing a lot different than he typically does with 4 fouls. Only 108 seconds to go, but he can't foul out. Having himself a solid day. 12 points, 7 rebounds. 2 assists and a steal as well for the big guy. Craig comes in, needs help, he gets it. Now the defense backs up. You're going to slow things down, right?
Yeah, here you got to slow things down. Up by 4, still a minute and 30 to go, but right here, get the best shot possible. Try to extend this lead.
Cho sets the screen, Bingham declines it, finds an open Robinson, nobody in the same area code, and it's a miss. Rebound Greyhounds. Robinson wisely steps back. They're going to take their time on this one. Let the clock go down to about 6 or 7 seconds. A minute and 6 or 7 seconds. Big difference there. Look at this little sky hook shot. Not a bad way to get your first bucket of the day. Josiah Tynes.
And maybe the most clutch bucket of the day. Extending this lead to 6 points now. Quincy was right in this game now. A 6-point run here by the Greyhounds.
Deep 3. Can't hit it. You cannot settle for those shots, and a foul. This one's big.
Who's the foul on?
Look at this one. Look at that little runner, and he just launches a high one.
Sean Craig.
Craig's third, so he has 3. Choa has 4. Tynes has 4. That's the 18th foul called against this Greyhound squad. Been a lot more physical, and it'll send Hardman to the line. Boy, you got to hit these if you're Malik Hardman. He shoots 81% from the stripe, though, so you like his chances. His first trip to the line, buries the first. You cannot miss any more free throws. Can't really miss any more opportunities after what was a poor 3 on that possession. They got lucky with a foul. His right big toe on the foul stripe, and he planks one in. It's a 4-point game. Gonna need to see some tight defense. And they get it here. How about that? Full court trap. Craig needs to get across the timeline. He does. And now Bingham says, hey, I'll take it in, and I'll let the slam go down. Kendrick Choa, flex your muscles.
Exclamation point right there from Kendrick Choa. Trying to shut down this Quincy team once and for all. Get some revenge.
That's going to be the dagger. You got to imagine. Steve Hawkins has to figure this one out for his squad. Look at this. A big slam. Bring the roof down.
Extra emphasis on it, too.
Jace, what a stretch of basketball. But over the last 4 minutes, the Greyhounds have been downright impressive.
Oh, yeah, definitely. The game was tied up at 62, and the Greyhounds on an 8-2 run right now, trying to take control of this game, get this revenge win over the Hawks. It's a tough loss earlier in the year, one they would definitely want back if they had the chance to.
Coach Corsaro talked about it before the game. He said that, hey, we're all competitors out here, and at the top level of the conference, at the highest level in Division II, you think about these things when you get a tough loss like that. He says, we're coming in thinking about how Quincy got the win here against us earlier in the season. While it's not the main focus, this team does a good job forgetting losses, focusing on the next game, doesn't look too far ahead, doesn't look too far behind. But they know that there's just a little chip on their shoulder playing the Quincy Hawks.
If they're able to close out this win, it would mean so much to this Greyhound team. Being able to be the team that's third in the GLVC in the point system, a team that you might see in the GLVC tournament at some point, a team that you probably have to play again.
The Hounds come into this game with a 13-game win streak. That's what's on the line.
And also that number 7 ranking.
Yeah, even more so.
You lose this game, you might drop out of that top 10, fall a few spots.
Win this game and you can continue to climb and continue your pursuit to have the first round of the NCAA tournament at home. Richardson to inbound. Some big moments here in this game for the Hawks. Knocked out his kickball from Tynes. He agrees with it. Coakley trying to get it inside to Hardman. You need to see a lot from Malik Hardman here in the next few seconds. He has not given you hardly anything today.
I'm curious to see if Quincy was after the 3 ball here to make it a 1-score game, or did it go after a quick 2?
Hardman comes in strong, sees a mismatch. Can't get it though. Greyhounds fouled. Robinson takes the 65-foot march to the other foul line.
And you could see Shockey wanted to get the jump ball there. He may have had it really, but they will call the foul, as in this scenario, fouling is all you can do at this point to try to come back.
Robinson 7 points, 3 rebounds, a steal, a block. He'll be sent to the line for not some huge free throws, you could say. The Greyhounds got to be feeling pretty loose out there with a 6-point lead, 29 seconds to go.
You would say one of these really closes this game out, makes it a 3-score game.
The dagger.
There it is.
Right into the hearts of Hawk fans. The second for good measure. He's got 8 points. Hits them both. You need to just go put up a 3 and hope you get a steal or a foul. Instead, they're going straight to the cup. Coakley puts in a nice little roll-around shot. The Greyhounds this season, when they shoot 40% or better, they're 19-0. They're going to move on to 20-0 in that category. They shoot 43% today. And a timeout called.
Some trouble inbounding the ball there. They couldn't get the ball inbounded in time, so Corsaro was forced to take a timeout there.
We'll take one with them. More next.
Award-winning news coverage. Brought to you by ethical journalists that care about you. We have you covered on crime, latest on sports, and the best in entertainment. This is UINDY TV News.
You're looking at a Hawks team who are going to need a lot over the next 23 seconds with the shot clock turned off. We're going to have 4 guys here on the inbound line, on the baseline. Kendrick Cho, the only one who's not. Going to move the ball around, trying to get the ball inbounded. They do. Double team comes up. And a foul. The man who just hit 2 free throws will get 2 more chances in the double bonus. Send him to the line. Robinson can go into double figures with a make. Coming off again an 11-point performance on Thursday night. Hounds by 6. He can make it 8. UINDY, they've just found a way to pull out these closer games later in the game. I mean, you get to that last 6 minutes, and they just start to pull away, and man, has it been impressive.
This is what makes good teams great teams. Being able to close out a game as a good team just makes you one of the best teams in the nation. If you can close out a game like this against a tough opponent, you can really beat anybody.
They've played 2 different styles of halves, too. 6 made threes in the first half, only 1 in the second half. They've gone 1 of their last 8 from downtown. It's just been a rough stretch this second half when it comes to beyond the arc stuff, but when they get inside, they're just finding so much success. It's a big reason why they've won this game.
And that foul there was on Tynes, fouled him out.
I don't think he's too upset about that, as this game is all but over. Tynes will leave the game with 2 points to his name. wasn't really asked to score a ton. He was more facilitating the offense. I talked to him on Monday. He loves that role. You know, he'll score, and he knows the team knows he can score at will. But when he can get the other teammates in the game and get them the ball, that's when he becomes more dangerous. He leads the team in assists, the number 1 3-point shooter in the conference when it comes to three-point percentage. A couple guys hit the deck. Referee to help him up. We'll wait this one out. All right, Jay, 17.4 seconds to go.
17.4 for a huge revenge win for this Greyhound club.
They get in, balls on the ground. Probably going to see a jump ball here, right? They will. Jump ball. Possession arrow in favor of the away team. This is just a ceremonial inbound. See if you can get a 3 just to find a little bit of momentum to hit the bus. Hit 70 points. UINDY pretty impressive on the day. And, of course, they've got one of the best defenses in the nation. They show it off here late in this one.
I think here, Quincy gets a quick 3 here. Things might get a little bit interesting, but not going for the 3.
And instead, it's poked out of bounds. Look at another shot. Only 0.3 of a second elapsed from the clock from the time it hit the hand of Kendrick Choa to the ground of Nickerson Hall. Try it again. Trying to go up for the lob instead. Ball goes. Linskis tosses it up. Can't get it. And a foul. 7 to go. At the free throw line for a couple free throws, Jamari Coakley, 56% from the stripe. He is 3rd in the conference in steals. Look at this, his stat line against Lewis in that win that they had on Thursday night. Just 4 points, but he had 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals. He's similar to Tynes. He's a floor general. He really gets his teammates involved. Look at a couple shots here from the stripe. His 4th point of the contest. Rebound goes to Choa, his 8th. As Kendrick Choa moves up with that rebound. Up the boards now to 17th all-time. UINDY's record books when it comes to rebounding.
He's only a junior.
He is
Still
only
got
a junior.
Another year to keep climbing up that list.
Because of COVID, he'll have 2 extra years. So he's got, he'll finish out this year as his 3rd. He'll get a year next year and then 1 after that if he wants it. He's got 15 points. Since the under 4 media timeout, it has been a 13-6 run for UINDY. It was a close game at the time, and they've just continued to pile on. Now a 14-6 run. Man, it was close for a majority of this one. Ceremonial shot. They make it. It's a 6-point contest, and we'll let the final few ticks off the clock, and the game is over. UINDY, 14 straight wins. We'll see on Tuesday what that ranking is. It's going to move up from 7. They are now 20-2. What a season they've had, as they already surpassed their win total from a year ago, in which they made it to the GLVC Championship. They're in position to get a first-round bye in that GLVC tournament this year and potentially host some NCAA tournament games. Let's hear what head coach Paul Corsaro has to say about this game and what Jace was a big win, 76-70 revenge.
We got another revenge game coming up, Rockhurst.
Yeah,
you
we'll
lost them on your home court. Can you go now to Rockhurst and win?
How big would that be? 2 straight revenge games. Let's head down to half court with Leticia and Coach Corsaro.
Hi, everyone. Hi, guys. I'm here down here with Coach Corsaro. Coach, congratulations. What a nail-biting finish that this was. Coach, your November game against Quincy was not what you expected. What did you learn from that game that you used in today's matchup?
We were a lot tougher today. I'm good. We were a lot tougher today. I thought we got out tough last game. We didn't start the game great with our toughness, but I thought we finished really well.
And Coach, this was the so-called revenge game, and I'm sure the guys were under a lot of pressure to win this one at home. How do you train them to play well under pressure?
I mean, it's something we work on every day. We have a tough competitive group, and they did a nice job finishing today.
And during the last game, you gave out Corsaro Crew t-shirts as an incentive for people to come to the games and doing more of such and you plan on doing more of such things. How big of an impact does a larger crowd have on the games?
Oh, we love it. Our crowds have been fantastic. We're starting to get it to where we want it. We're not finished yet. And stay tuned for Thursday the 16th. People are going to be here. We're going to have some fun stuff going on.
All right, perfect. Good luck on your next travel games. And boys, reporting one last time here, Leticia Vaselli. Back to you, boys.
Thanks a lot, head coach Paul Corsaro, our sideline reporter, and Leticia Vaselli. What a game we just saw. UINDY with a 76-70 win. Looking through the scoring columns, leading the game in scoring. 18 points for Jesse Bingham. A good day for him. 6 assists as well. He had himself a good day. Look at that, Jesse Bingham right there talking to our radio crew.
Jesse Bingham, 18 points, 6 assists, 2 rebounds, like you said. Just phenomenal afternoon for Bingham. He's been a leading scorer all season long. He's one of the reasons the UINDY team is where they're at right now.
Right behind him, Kendrick Cho with 16 points, 8 rebounds. 2 other Greyhounds hit double figures. That's Jacoby Robinson, and off the bench, Jarvis Walker. On the other side of things, Quincy, the leading scorer was Zion Richardson. He had 14 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. A good day for him. Gustafson on the inside, 12 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 blocks as well. But it was not enough to overcome the Greyhounds, who now move on to their 14th straight win. Now they're going to travel to Rockhurst in Kansas City. The second straight revenge game for them. That'll be on Thursday. Then they'll head to William Jewell. A long road stand in front of them. And then they're back here the next week, Thursday the 16th. We'll have the coverage right here at UINDY TV. It should be a good game that they will have coming up here. And it won't be too long before we're at the end of the season, Jace.
Nope, not at all in UINDY. Big win here, 12-2 in the conference play now. Keep getting those points, rack up those points for the point system. Try to get that #1 overall seed in the GLVC.
A big thank you to our production staff, camera operators Liam Blaze, Tim Matthew Dykes, Andelia Becker, production assistants from Elijah Sutton, Brady Budke, Brandon Barger, Rick Dunkel, our fearless director and executive producer Colin Jung. A big thank you to Leticia Vaselli, our reporter down on the sideline, and Jace Hodge. It was a pleasure calling this game with you.
As always.
Signing off one last time this weekend. We'll talk to you on the 16th. Nathaniel Finch from Nickerson Hall.